Well, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to TTP Sports. If you're here from the Flyers recap, welcome to the Sixers recap. So, yeah, basically for the Sixers game, I was at the Flyers game tonight, but, I wasn't missing any Sixers action. The Flyers kind of aren't good. So I'm going to sit there in the stands. I got my phone out. I got the My Teams ad out. I'm going to watch the Sixers game. I'm going to stream it any way I possibly can to see this Sixers team break a franchise record with threes this game. They put 23 threes up this game. They went 23 out of 40 from the three-point line. They broke a franchise record for most threes in a game by a Sixers team. So there you go. The Sixers beat the Indiana Pacers by a score of 131-122, and a lot of things stood out in this game. The Sixers went up by a huge lead going into the third quarter. I think it was 90-69 or something like that, 90-63. I think was in that range. But they almost blow the lead because Indiana does come back in that third quarter. The Sixers were completely going off in the first half, or the first in the second quarter, scoring 33 points in the first, scoring 49 points in the second quarter. The Sixers were just lighting it up for just lighting it up from three. They were just going, especially guys like Tyrese Maxey. He was going crazy in that first half from three. And just look at a lot of the players on this team still. It was a good game offensively. Defensively, they're still going to they're not going to destroy teams defensively. They're going to win games by completely outshooting the other opponent, outscoring the other opponent. We know this right now. And this is one of those games where everyone was just clicking, but mainly it was Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey just hitting at all cylinders. Yeah, there were other people that put up their points and stuff like that, but it was mainly the Joel Embiid and the Tyrese Maxey show. That's basically what it was. So before we get into this game, what is going on, everyone? And welcome back to TTP Sports. If you are new to the channel, I definitely recommend hitting that sub button and also dropping a like on that like button. If you're looking for all the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events, this is the place to be at, depending on the outcome, great or miserable, depending on the outcome. And if you're a current viewer of the channel, I'm grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you could think of, use the code TTP Sports down below. We're $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So that could be tickets to the Sixers games. Get some playoff tickets. Not that many games left in this regular season. Get yourself some playoffs tickets for this team. See them in the first round. Maybe they go in the second round. Opening day is coming up this Friday for the Phillies. Get yourself some Phillies tickets. Going to be an exciting time. Put yourself through a Flyers game. Why not? And when the Eagles come back, definitely can't pass up $20 in your pocket. Use that for parking. Use that for concessions. It's an easy deal. No brainer. Use the code TTP Sports for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So like I said, the Sixers beat the Indiana Pacers today by a score of 131-122, breaking a franchise record for most threes in a game with 23. And guys that go off in this game, Joel Embiid with 45 points, Tyrese Maxey with 30 points and 8 threes in this game. The kid was lighting it up from beyond the arc, and it was very fun to watch. There were other guys that did stand out. Tobias Harris was going off early. He kind of died down the rest of the stretch, but he was also big early on. James Harden only had 11 points in this game, but when you have guys like Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey going off, I'm not going to, harp on James Harden, and he had 14 dishes, has 14 assists, so I'm not going to really harp on Harden tonight. Not really going to. And other guys that really stood out, some guys off of the bench chipping in. You got Niang getting him some points, got Shake Milton getting some points, Danny Green getting some points right there as well. So, yes, they do kind of blow the lead in the third quarter. They do get outplayed a lot in the third quarter. They let Indiana score 40 points that quarter. But they found a way to close the game out. And as they should, because Indiana is not that good of a team. So they found a way to close it out. They almost blew the lead, but they found a way to win. I guess at the end of the day, that matters. Because Joel Embiid, just speaking of Joel Embiid, previous game against Cleveland, wills them to a victory, puts up 44. Very next game in Indiana, puts up 45. 45. This guy is unreal. This guy is just on a completely different level. The dude is averaging around 30 points this year a game this season. And somehow he's still not the favorite for the MVP? Somehow he's still not the favorite? I don't understand. I don't understand a lick whatsoever how Joel Embiid is still not the favorite for MVP. I just don't. I completely don't understand it. Look at Joel Embiid's stat line: 45 points, plus 20 on the night, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 18 of 30 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. And at the end of that first quarter, when he hit that buzzer beater from like how long was it out that he hit it? Like almost at the logo, basically almost going out of bounds as well. Hits the backboard and goes in for the buzzer beater. I'm like, Duke can't miss. Duke can do anything on the court. How's this dude not the MVP? How is Jokic still the favorite? I'm not saying Jokic is a bad player. Jokic is a fantastic player. But people that just go die hard to defend Jokic and somehow just hate on Embiid because, he just tries to draw fouls. He just goes to the line. Joel Embiid only went to the line, what, 5 times today? He didn't go that much. He didn't go that many times. Like 5-10 times. I think it was in that range. Went 7 of 10 from the free throw line. He didn't go there that much. He wasn't die hard by the free throw line today. He was just doing his thing, down low, and just basically whatever he can do. Because that's just what Joel Embiid does. The dude is a beast. The dude is a monster, and he should be the favorite for MVP. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a random dude in his house that recaps these games and talks Philadelphia sports. Some random schmuck. But Joel Embiid should be the MVP. Should be. Tyrese Maxey goes off in this game. 30 points, a plus 15 on the court, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 block, 9 of 12 from the field, 8 of 11 from 3. Tyrese Maxey, especially in the first quarter, the first half. I think he put up 7 threes in the first half. The kid just couldn't miss. He could not miss, and he was perfect from the free throw line, going 4 of 4. So Tyrese Maxey, after having a couple of, I would say, sluggish games, like he really had that game against Miami when Harden and Embiid were out, and he basically stole the show there. He had a couple of quiet games in between there, and then having this game, he just could not miss. Tyrese Maxey just could not miss, and he was simply fantastic out there on the court. Tobias Harris, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. So he was active defensively tonight. 5 of 11 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3. So a good game by Tobias Harris. I would say the last game against Cleveland, he put up the threes, but he wasn't hitting them. Like I think he put up around 5-6 threes last game against Cleveland. After the game against Charlotte where he was hitting everything basically. Game against Cleveland, he struggled. This game, he hit 5 of 6 threes. So if you can get a Tobias Harris that can put up at least 15 to 20 points a game, especially going to the playoffs, and he's putting up 6 threes at least, and he's hitting at least half of them, maybe 2 or 3 of those, that's good. That's good going to the playoffs because Tobias Harris, that could be huge going into the playoffs if Tobias Harris starts to find his confidence. And he's having more good games than bad. It's not the Tobias Harris at the beginning of the season where he's mainly struggling and he just looks lost out there, especially when James Harden came into the mix and he looked extra lost. But he's starting to find his rhythm. He's finding his groove, and it's a good thing. That's a good thing going into the playoffs for the Sixers team. Tobias Harris finding a groove. I think that's a good thing right there for this team. James Harden only put up 11 points, got 14 assists, though. He was really dishing it out there. 2 rebounds, 2 steals. Decent night from James Harden, passing-wise. I still want him to put up more points. I want him to shoot the ball better. 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, so he's still struggling to hit it from beyond the arc. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, so he wasn't as hyper-aggressive. I still think the hamstring is probably an issue for him there, but then you could also throw in the argument because Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey were going off in this game, so he probably really wasn't focused on scoring. But I would still like him to get more than 11 points. I would still like that. I do think James Harden is going to get better as the games go along, and when you get into the playoffs, I do think he's going to get better when you get into the playoffs. I know a lot of people are worried about that standpoint. Just because it's James Harden, everyone's worried about, is he washed right now? He's in a decline. James Harden, he can't win anything in this league. He can't do anything in the playoffs. I'm not worried about that. That's basically all people overreacting at this point, and all the trolls and the haters out there that just want to hate on James Harden. They hate on James Harden. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I do think he gets better as the playoffs, but right now it's kind of a concern because he's not putting up those points. When we get there, we get there. Matisse Thybulle, though, not scoring at all. 0 points in this game. He had literally 2 layups in a row. Bricked them both. Never seen a guy that bricks layups like nothing. Literally 2 straight possessions. He had 2 chances for layups and he bricks them both. How? How is that even possible? 0 points. 4 plus 14 on the court. 1 assist, 1 steal. 0 of 5 from the field. 0 of 2 from 3. He just couldn't hit anything. And that you're going to have those nights from Matisse. Majority of the time, you're going to have those nights from Matisse Thybulle. But seriously, bricking those 2 layups. Come on, dude. Come on. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't brick 2 layups in a row. Come on, man. And looking at the bench, Niang gives you 9 points off the bench, plus 5 in 18 minutes. Went 3 of 4 from the field, which basically all of his shots were threes, and he hit 3 of those. Danny Green in 20 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. DeAndre Jordan does get ejected, though. Played 9 minutes, put up 5 points. He was a minus 11, though. So, yeah, once again, DeAndre Jordan just showcases that he sucks. Very questionable on the ejection. Very, very questionable. But at the end of the day, DeAndre Jordan sucks. He shouldn't be on the court. Should not be on the court. I'm kind of done with the DeAndre Jordan experiment. Really am. Shake Milton in 20 minutes, 4 of 7 from the field, put up 10 points, 2 of 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Sixers, as a team, shooting 54% from the field in this game. They were 57% from 3, 23 out of 40 there. Some of the guys for the Pacers, you got Halliburton going off for 21 points. You got Hield going off for 25. Got some of the guys going, plus 10 off the bench. You got Smith off the bench with 19. Stevenson with 10. You got Jackson as one of the starters with 16. Well, I'm not going to you almost blew this game. I'm not going to completely complain, but you found a way to win. At the end of the day, these games technically don't matter because they're just for seeding at this point, because you made the playoffs, you got your playoff spot. At this point, it's where you're going to finish in the standings and who you're going to be facing up in those standings. So if I look at speaking of the standings, if I look at them right now, Sixers. So right now, basically everyone in the Eastern Conference has clinched their playoff spot. So right now, still, the Sixers are now 2.5 games out of first place. It's a 3-way tie, actually, for second, third, and fourth with the Boston Celtics, the Sixers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. All 3 teams are 49-30, and they're all 2.5 games behind the Miami Heat, who are in first place in the Eastern Conference at 52-28. Teams that are below them, Toronto Raptors, they're 3.5 back. They're 3 games behind the Sixers. They're 5.5 back of first place. Chicago Bulls, they are 4 games behind the Sixers, 6.5 behind the first place. Then you got your play-in teams, Cleveland, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Charlotte. We're still not sure who the Sixers could play in the playoffs. I know right now, possibly your first round matchup could be Toronto, could be Chicago. I would love to see them play Chicago, though, with the way they've played them this year. I would love to see that. But who knows? You only got a couple of games left in the season, so not that many left. Right now, I think this is probably where the Sixers are going to stand out. They're going to be in this 4th, 2nd, 3rd range. I don't think they're going to get first place, if the Heat fall off again, but I doubt that's going to happen because if you look at the rest of the Sixers schedule, there's not that many games left whatsoever. I think, only like 4 or 5 games left? Exactly. No, actually 3 games left. Toronto on Thursday, Indiana on Saturday, and Detroit on Sunday. So not that many games left. Not that many games left for this team. So basically the backstretch, maybe you'll see some of these games, maybe Saturday and Sunday with the back-to-back. Maybe you'll see Joel Embiid and James Harden rest. I feel like that's when Doc Rivers will rest those guys. So it's basically just a wait and see right there. So yeah, good win by this team. Embiid showcases why he should be the MVP, and Tyrese Maxey went off. Almost blew the game, but you found a way to close it out. Some people in the live feed, Brian, coming over from the Flyers stream. I would like to know, sir, are you going to recap a season on the Phillies baseball team? Yes, I am going to do Phillies recaps. Don't worry about that. When Philly season starts, which is Friday, I will be doing Phillies recaps. Don't worry about that. D-League team is in the playoffs. Delaware Bluecoats, they won tonight. Yes, they did. Brian says, what are the playoffs going to look like? Who do you think we're going to play in the first round for sure? Right now, like I said, the Sixers are in 4th place right now in the Eastern Conference. They're in that 3-way tie with Milwaukee and Boston. They could be in either of those places, honestly, when the season ends. I expect them to stay in that 4th to 3rd range. They could play Chicago. They could play Toronto. I'm not sure if they've landed 4th place. I don't think that makes them fall for any of the play-in round teams. I think if they play in 4th place, they're either going to be playing Toronto or Chicago. So it's basically one of those 2 teams, I feel. I don't think they're going to end up playing a Brooklyn. I don't think they're going to end up playing a team like a Cleveland. They could play Charlotte, but I think it's more likely first round you might see Chicago or you might see Toronto. That's what I think is going to be. Brian says, do you think we sign James Harden back next year? I think with Daryl Morey, yes, just because of all the ties right now to was it Mike D'Antoni, the next head coach? Because I know all that stuff about Doc Rivers coming out with him being the favorite for I think the Lakers head coach position or possibly the Utah Jazz. What was it, the Utah Jazz or something like that? So yeah, I think all that stuff coming out with Doc Rivers, all the stuff in the connections with Daryl Morey and all that stuff, the D'Antoni with James Harden. I do think Harden does come back next year. Are they going to sign him to that max contract? They're probably going to have no choice. I feel like that in that standpoint. I do feel like Daryl Morey isn't done though, especially like say right with the Sixers right now. I don't think they're going to win the championship. Right now, am I confident that they get to the third round this year or get out of the second round? I think they win one. I think they win the first round. Depending on the matchup in the second round, do they go another 7 games? Do they get to the third round? I think depending on the matchup, they can get to the third round this year. But it really depends on the matchup in that second round. If they're forced, because you might not be able to get away from playing a team like a Brooklyn. You might not be able to get away from playing a team like a Boston or something like that. You might not be able to get away from any of those teams. Or Milwaukee. Might not be able to escape that. But can get to the third round? I think it's possible. I don't think they're a championship quality team. Now, there's still a lot of holes on this team. Bench-wise, with the way the team just is overall, with the way, they go inconsistent with the scoring. I think they need an extra piece in there to go with, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey. And I know Daryl Morey is going to work his ass off this offseason to get that extra piece. But you never know what's going to happen this postseason. You never know what's going to happen. So it's going to be an exciting time for this postseason. The season, there's only 3 games left. So you never know what's going to happen. Brian says, do you think the Sixers in the playoffs this year can be a team to beat in the playoffs? What would it take to win a championship this year? Joel Embiid continuing to do his thing, and if James Harden finds the way to break out of this major scoring slump that he's in. I think if those two guys go off in the playoffs, I think they can beat any team, especially when Joel Embiid and James Harden go off. Because I know Joel Embiid's going to be Joel Embiid. That's not a given. Well, it is a given, actually. I don't know why I said it's not a given. Joel Embiid goes off in the playoffs, and then you add in James Harden, finding a way to get his scoring touch back. I don't think he's going to be that 30-plus point a game player that he used to be. But if he can give you 20 to 25 points per game, I think that's solid enough in the playoffs. And if Tyrese Maxey can give you at least 15, 20, and Tobias Harris can give you at least 15, 20, I think they could beat most teams. I think so. It's basically your offense needs to find a way to be consistent. They're not going to be like this every night where they're literally hitting everything. Be consistent enough, though, in the playoffs. Because the only way they're going to beat teams is if they outscore them. They need to outscore teams. They're not going to shut them down defensively. They're just not. That's not how they're built. They're built to outscore teams. And yes, this team has flaws. The bench is a major flaw. It is. They need to find a way. Brian says, thank you for your channel, sir, and thank you for all your success on this channel. I hope it grows one day for you to deserve it, sir. You do the best you can, and that all that matters. I will stick with you. I greatly appreciate that, dude. I greatly appreciate that. Everyone who joins the streams, everyone who hits that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate all of you, and thank you for all the love and support. And yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on this Sixers win, just your thoughts going to the playoffs in general. I want to hear all those down in the comment section below, so don't forget to leave those down there. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. The links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer.pod and merch website, Flyers Nitty Gritty, and also hit that subscribe button as well. Scrabble up my words. Doing 2 live streams in a row. It's going to scramble your brain up a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit there. And also, don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.